Hey y'all, it's Jacqueline at Pixie Dust PhD. Happy 2025! To kick off the new year, I thought we would revisit the topic of the perks that you get as an on-site hotel guest. There have been several changes to this over the last few years, many of them deeply unpopular. But there is a new addition to 2025, and in general, I thought we could all use the pressure on what is it exactly you get for being an on-site guest at Walt Disney World. For the purposes of this video, we are going to split it pretty evenly on-site to off-site. For on-site, you've got your value resorts, and I am including the campsites in this category, your moderate resorts, deluxe resorts, and those villas. All told, there are more than 25 on-site Disney resort hotels. Off-site then encompasses everything else. As with everything Disney, there is a little bit of nuance here. You do have the Swan, Swan Reserve, Dolphin, and Shades of Green, which are located in the resort itself, but are not Disney owned, operated, and run. Those do share many of these same perks, but like I said, for the sake of simplicity for the video, we're just sticking with the sheer definition of on-site, Disney owned and operated on the resort, and then everything else is off-site. And we'll come back to this at the end, but it is worth noting that staying on-site tends to be more expensive than staying off-site. That can manifest in two ways. For what you pay to stay on-site, if you took that exact same money and applied it to an off-site room, you'd probably either get a bigger room, a more luxurious room, maybe better amenities at the hotel, kind of an upgrade. Or instead of spending that amount on property, you could find a similar room off property and probably spend less. Price often tends to be the top consideration for most folks when considering if you are going to stay on-site or off-site for your Walt Disney World vacation. So let's go over exactly what those perks are if you do decide to pay up to stay on-site. First, you'll get complimentary extra time in the theme parks. So every on-site resort guest does get 30 minutes of early entry into each of the 4 main theme parks. Let's say that the posted hours has Hollywood Studios opening at 9 a.m. If you are an on-site resort guest, you'll actually have access to attractions starting at 8:30 a.m. instead. Typically, early entry will not be all attractions, but it definitely is a good time for you to get some heavy hitters out of the way. And on top of this 30-minute early entry that happens every day at all 4 theme parks, if you are a deluxe or villa level on-site resort guest, then you will also have access to extended evening theme park hours. These are not as widespread, it typically only occurs a couple days a week. Very often it's been Mondays and Wednesdays, and kind of more often than not, it's Magic Kingdom and Epcot, but that does definitely change. I'll leave a link below to the official extended evening hours page for you to peruse if you're interested in more details there. If you're staying off-site but heading into the Walt Disney World theme parks, you simply just don't have any free extra time in the theme parks. There are, of course, paid ways to get extra time in the theme parks, such as after-hours events or parties, but nothing for free. Next, let's talk about Lightning Lane. All guests visiting the Walt Disney World theme parks have access to Lightning Lane Single Pass and Lightning Lane Multi Pass. If you're an on-site guest though, you can purchase that 7 days in advance of your stay for your entire stay. For example, let's say I am doing a Sunday to Saturday vacation. 7 days in advance of Sunday, if I want to go ahead and book a Lightning Lane Single Pass for that Friday, as an on-site guest, I can do that. Guests staying in hotels off Walt Disney World Resort property, again, can still purchase Lightning Lane Single Pass and Multi Pass, it's just a little bit more cumbersome. You can only do it 3 days in advance of your park visit, and you're going to have to do it day by day. Maybe that's not a big deal to you, but if you are trying to snag some of those e-ticket rides, particularly if you want ideal times, then having that advantage of being an on-site guest, both the 7-day window instead of 3 days, and as well as being able to do it for your whole length of stay instead of day by day, can really help. Additionally, on-site guests are eligible to purchase Lightning Lane Premier Pass. If you are staying off-site, you simply cannot purchase this product, at least at this time. And if you want to make your vacation feel a little bit more all-inclusive, on-site resort guests are able to add, for an additional cost, a Disney dining plan. This is essentially a way for you to prepay for some to all of your meals and snacks. Monetarily, it's not often the best value. You absolutely can get your monetary value out of it, and you just kind of have to plan ahead for that. But for many people, it really is about the convenience. You can pay for it in advance, it is done, and then when you are out and about in the theme parks, you can kind of just eat what you want, and most of it's going to be covered, most likely. If you are staying at an off-site hotel, you simply do not have access to purchase a Disney dining plan. So you will be paying for your meals and snacks as you go. And like with Lightning Lane, if you're making advanced dining reservations for those table service restaurants at Walt Disney World, on-site guests do have an advantage there. For everybody, this reservation window does open up 60 days in advance, but for on-site guests, again, you can book that through the length of your stay. So if you're trying to book a very popular restaurant, something like maybe Space 220 or breakfast at Topolino's Terrace, having that advantage of being able to book out for your full stay is actually super helpful. If you're checking in on Sunday, 60 days in advance of that day, you can actually go ahead then and book for Friday, let's say, for Space 220 or Topolino's Terrace, or whatever your most desired meal is. If you're staying offsite, the length of your hotel stay doesn't factor into this at all, so you're always just booking 60 days out day by day. But regardless if you're staying on-site or off-site, advanced dining reservations can be frustrating, I totally understand. There are a bunch of free tools you can use to try to alert you when reservations open up. I will leave a link to a video discussing that in the description below. Frankly, using these tools is how I get most of the more desirable advanced dining reservations I've ever snagged, so I highly suggest you use them. Next, let's talk about getting to the theme parks. On-site resort guests will have transportation to all of the theme parks directly from their hotel. It will vary depending on where you're staying. Most places you're going to have bus transportation to the theme parks. But again, depending on where you're staying, there might be a boat option. You might be able to take the Skyliner, which is that gondola system. Maybe you can hop on the monorail, or maybe you can even walk. If you're offsite, this is pretty variable. Your hotel may offer transportation to the Walt Disney World theme parks, but chances are decent. It's not terribly robust. It's not going to be a constant cycle like on-site transportation. But it is worth noting that once offsite guests are on Walt Disney World Resort property, then you are still free to use the transportation. If you make your way from offsite to a theme park, then from that theme park you are welcome to hop on a Walt Disney World owned and operated bus to anywhere you want to go on property. And similarly, you can also make your way from offsite to an on-site hotel, and then from that hotel you'll be able to take transport to the theme parks. So Walt Disney World transportation is not locked down to on-site only resort guests, it's just considerably more convenient. If you've got a car though, you'll be thinking about parking. Standard parking is complimentary for on-site hotel resort guests, both at their hotel as well as at the theme parks. If you're staying off-site, obviously the price to park is going to be variable. Call your hotel to find out. And if you're going to go ahead and take your car to drive and park at a theme park, standard parking currently is $30 per day. If you're park hopping, you don't have to pay multiple times. It really is per day. So say you head to Epcot first, hold on to your seat. If you want to go ahead and hop to Hollywood Studios later, just show them that at the window. You won't have to pay twice. Another perk for on-site guests is enhanced capability of your Magic Band. Now, Magic Bands are optional. You still totally don't have to use them. But if you want to, it can be a little bit more fun if you're staying on-site. First, to buy a Magic Band, if you do have an on-site reservation, then you do get a discounted pre-arrival price. So you can pick out a Magic Band online, it will ship to your home, and then you take it with you. Though I do believe that perk may not exist for international folks. If any of you have direct experience with that, please leave a comment down below. Once you have arrived at your resort, you can go ahead and use your Magic Band to unlock your room, so it can become your room key. And while you are out and about on resort property, a vast majority of places will let you use your Magic Band to charge food and merchandise purchases back to your room. So it really is kind of a key to the world. Potentially, you'd never have to take out a physical park ticket card or a credit card. You can just use your Magic Band for pretty much everything you need. And on top of that, there's additional functionality to the Magic Bands that works for both on and off-site guests alike. Once you've got a valid ticket linked, you can use your Magic Bands to tap in and enter both the theme parks and the water parks. Similarly, you can use your Magic Bands to enter the queues for Lightning Lane and virtual queues. And you can use your Magic Band to connect your PhotoPass pictures to your PhotoPass account. Another perk that's perhaps less tangible, but a lot of people really enjoy and talk about, is staying in the Disney bubble. So once you are within the Walt Disney Resort, you never have to leave. By staying on-site within the Walt Disney World Resort property, you are definitely closest to the theme parks compared to off-site, and you're also considerably closer to the other on-site resort hotels that you may want to explore. There tends to be Disney theming in places. Now the level's variable, right? Art of Animation is more heavily themed than, say, the Grand Floridian. But you will see fun Disney touches everywhere, in the pools and the carpet. Many of the resorts will have extra activities like little crafts that will be Disney themed. The background music is wonderful. Those are things that you tend not to get off-site. And your in-room amenities are often a little bit more plugged into what's going on at Disney World. So there's the Hey Disney, which is basically Alexa. You can ask it questions about park hours and it will tell you. And there's of course the Park Hours channel and other information on your interactive TV at the resort hotel that likely won't be as available if you're staying off-site. And new in 2025 on your check-in day for on-site resort guests, then the water park is free that day. Disney typically will have one of its 2 water parks open on any given day. Obviously they are subject to close depending on the weather. But let's say you're flying down, you're gonna land at, say, noon. You don't wanna burn an entire day ticket to go to the theme parks that day. You can check in and then head over to the water park, and that is totally complimentary. Off-site guests just don't have standard complimentary access to water parks. Though if you work with a travel agent, they can let you know if there's any interesting specials running. I booked a deal before where my off-site hotel rate did in fact come with a 1-day ticket to the water parks, so you never know what's out there. But standard, everyday, free access to the water parks on your check-in day is only for resort guests. So there is a rundown of the main perks for staying on site on Walt Disney World property. Some of these are quite tangible, like free entrance into the water park or extra time in the theme parks. Others are a little bit more about the vibe. Ultimately, in my opinion, weighing an off-site versus an on-site often comes down to price versus convenience. It's really, what's your budget and what kind of vacation are you trying to have? I've done an entire trip off-site with friends and we had a great time, but it was less convenient. Relying on Ubers was kind of a pain. And as a Disney Vacation Club member, of course, I now mostly stay on-site. But I'm definitely about saving some money when we can, so pretty often for arrival night or departure night, sometimes both, we do switch over to an off-site hotel. Room size may also be a factor for you. If you're traveling with a particularly large party, different room arrangements off-site just may make more sense for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, entertaining, or informative, please be sure to leave a like on the video as well as subscribe to the channel. You can then ring the bell icon to receive a notification whenever I upload new videos. And big thank you to my monthly Ko-fi supporters. Right now that's Tara, Michelle, Coco, Tiffany, Amy, and Judy. They did get a little slick sheet preview of this video, so if you're interested in little perks like that, go ahead and join us over on Ko-fi. Let me know what you think about these hotel perks in the comments down below, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to help out. Again, I don't know that they're necessarily always worth it. Definitely depends on your travel party, your budget, and your trip length. But it's good to know what perks do exist to help you make that decision. And these were the major perks in my opinion, but if I missed anything, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you again for watching, and I hope your new year is off to a great start. May the rest of your day be magical, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.